At almost every traditional Jewish wedding, a similar scene plays out under the Chupha. 7 men are called up to recite the Sheva Brachot, the 7 blessings of the marriage. But do these blessings must be exclusively recited by men? Halachically speaking, would it be possible for a woman to recite these blessings? Rabbi David Bigman and Rabbi Yosef Slotnick offer an halachic analysis in Gluya magazine, and spoiler alert, they say that the answer is yes. To understand their argument, we need to walk through 4 logical steps. The first question we must ask is, what is the halachic function of these blessings? There is a minority view among the Rishonim that these blessings are a matir, an actual act that permits the couple to be together as man and wife. If this were true, it might restrict who can say them. Most rabbis, however, rule that the blessings fall into the category of Birkat HaShevach, blessings of praise to God. The proof is simple. If a couple gets married and forgets to say the blessings, they are still considered 100% married by the Jewish law. The Rama states that if he entered the chuppah and did not recite the groom's blessings, it is a complete chuppah. If the blessings were a legal permit, the marriage wouldn't be valid without them. Since the marriage is considered valid, the blessings are clearly a community expression of gratitude and joy, and not a legal technicality. Having established that these are blessings of praise, we now must ask who is allowed to say them on behalf of the community. The general halachic rule is that anyone who is obligated in a matter can exempt the many, meaning that if I am personally obligated to do a mitzvah, I can say the blessing on it for everyone else listening. In our case, the mitzvah is to rejoice with the groom and the bride, an obligation that fully includes women. Because a woman shares the exact same obligation as a man to bring joy to the couple, she is halachically eligible to recite the blessing on behalf of the community. A common objection voiced by many is that the 7 blessings are devarim shebikdusha, matters of holiness, like the Kaddish and the Baruch Hu prayers. In Jewish law, reciting such prayers requires a minyan, traditionally led by men. While a small minority suggested this opinion, the consensus of the ruling sages is that Sheva Brachot are not matters of holiness in the ritual sense. Unlike Kaddish, a prayer deeply tied to the holiness of the text itself, Sheva Brachot are defined by publicity. We need a minyan not because the text is restricted, but because the joy must be public. Since they are not classified as dvarim shebikdusha, the strict gender exclusion that apply to leading prayers do not apply here. This brings us to the final distinctions regarding the minyan. We know that Sheva Brachot requires 10 men, but there is still a distinction to be made between the quorum and the speaker. A presence of 10 men creates the official status of public gathering. However, implies the Rambam in Hilchot Ishut, once those men are present and the quorum is established, the person who actually recites the blessings does not have to be one of those 10 men. The speaker simply needs to be a community member who is obligated in the joy. Conclusion: when we put these pieces together, the picture is clear. 1. The blessings are an act of praise, not a legal transaction. 2. There are not matters of holiness like Kaddish. 3. Women are fully obligated in the mitzvah of rejoicing. 4. As long as a minyan is present, the speaker does not need to be a male. Based on this, Rabbi Bigman and Rabbi Slotnick conclude that honoring women with Sheva Brachot is halachically consistent, allowing the entire community to give full voice to their joy. Mazel Tov.